Have you ever felt like you were fighting God instead of walking with Him? What if that struggle, what if that past wrestle was to shape you, was to transform you, but you let go instead of clinging on, you giving up instead of staying within that battle? A key figure in the Bible that we're going to talk about today is Jacob. Right? Jacob was alone. Jacob was scared, fearful, and running from his past. And that's when God showed up to wrestle with him. Genesis 32, verse 23 through 24, and we're in the ESV version. It says, the same night he arose and took his 2 wives, his 2 female servants, and his 11 children, and crossed the ford of the Jabbok. He took them and sent them across the stream and everything else that he had. Verse 24, and Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him until the breaking of the day. Spiritual encounters most of the time happens when you are alone, happens when you are in solitude. And the man who wrestled with Jacob was God himself appearing in human form. And we can find that in Hosea 12, verse 3 through 4. So understand that God coming to Jacob and wrestling with him is not punishment. No, it's preparation for what God has planned, what he has to bless Jacob with. And when we continue in verse 25, it says, when the man saw that he did not prevail against Jacob, he touched his hip socket, and Jacob's hip was put out of joint as he wrestled with him. We all know that God could easily overpower Jacob, but this is not about strength, right? This is about spiritual identity. The touch in Hebrew means naga, a gentle contact, right? Like, what if God gave him a full blow? He probably did. I'm being honest, right? So this shows God's supreme power, which also shows that God weakens us to humble us. Only through true brokenness can true strength and blessing come. Wrestling is not going to get you anywhere, but when the clinging comes into place, that's where things start to shift. That's where things start to change, right? Shifting from fighting for control to clinging, repentance and faith. Jacob's all-night wrestle was not about Jacob defeating God. No, it was about God defeating Jacob self-will. Verse 28, it says, then he said, your name shall no longer be called Jacob, which means deceiver, but Israel, for you have striven with God and with man and have prevailed. God honors Jacob's perseverance in seeking him, but redirects it from striving against to persevering and seeing and aligning through God. So through pain, through surrender, through difficulty, Jacob received a new name, Israel, a divine blessing and a lifelong reminder to walk in dependence, not in pride. If you're wrestling right now, like if there's something in your life you're battling right now, whether it's with God or a circumstance, right? Through it all, God is in the midst. Don't give up. No, that's the worst thing you can do. God is not fighting to destroy you, but he's fighting to develop you. Sometimes the blessing isn't avoiding the struggle. It's meeting God in the midst of the struggle. If you guys are loving these videos, I ask that y'all just like, comment. I greatly appreciate it. But in all, I pray that this truly blesses y'all. All right. Love y'all. Peace.